I have repeatedly offered $1,000 to anyone who can prove to me from the Bible alone that I am bound to keep Sunday holy. There is no such law in the Bible. It is a law of the Holy Catholic Church alone. It is a law of the Holy Catholic Church alone. It is a law of the Holy Catholic Church alone. I have repeatedly offered $1,000 to anyone who can prove to me from the Bible alone that I am bound to keep Sunday holy. There is no such law in the Bible. It is a law of the Holy Catholic Church alone. It is a law of the Holy Catholic Church alone.
It is a law of the Holy Catholic Church alone.
So, did the Catholic Church, did they change the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday?
And I'm going to say no because we don't understand Sunday to be the Sabbath. The Sabbath is the seventh day, and in the Old Testament was part of the covenant and part of God's commandment to observe the seventh day as a way of acknowledging the goodness of God's original creation and God's saving act in bringing Israel out of bondage in Egypt and establishing Israel as his new covenant people, as the beginning of a process of bringing about a new creation. So that's what the Sabbath meant. In the New Testament, when Jesus dies and rises again on the third day, he comes back to life, he's resurrected, transformed by God the Father on Sunday, then what was the way of acknowledging God by honoring a certain day related to God's actions, what had been the Sabbath gets transformed into the first day. It's the first day of the week, the first day of the new creation. The Sabbath gets transformed into the first day. It's the first day of the week, the first day of the new creation.
The Sabbath gets transformed into the first day. It's the first day of the week, the first day of the new creation.
The Bible says, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." The Catholic Church says, "No, by my divine power I abolish the Sabbath day and command you to keep holy the first day of the week." And lo, the entire civilized world bows down in a reverent obedience to the command of the Holy Catholic Church. T. Enright, CSSR, in a lecture at Hartford, Kansas, February 18, 1884. The Catholic Church for over 1,000 years before the existence of a Protestant, by virtue of her divine mission, changed the day from Saturday to Sunday. The Catholic Mirror, September 23, 1893. Question: which is the Sabbath day? Answer: Saturday is the Sabbath day. Question: why do we observe Sunday instead of Saturday? Answer: we observe Sunday instead of Saturday because the Catholic Church in the Council of Laodicea, AD 336, transferred the solemnity from Saturday to Sunday.
The Sabbath gets transformed into the first day. It's the first day of the week, the first day of the new creation. So Christians don't worship together on the seventh day, which is the day of completion for the old creation. Rather, because of Jesus' resurrection, what God has done in raising Jesus from the dead on the first day of the week, Christians celebrate the new creation, the beginning of the new creation, which is what Jesus' resurrection is all about. And we look forward to the completion of that new creation at the end of history, when we will have the super Sabbath, the Sabbath of the final Sabbath, entering the fullness of the rest that God intends for his creation. So Christians, because of what Jesus has done through the resurrection, God has done, look at the Lord's Day no longer as the Sabbath of the Old Testament, the seventh day of the week, Saturday, but rather they look at the Lord's Day as the beginning of the new creation, the first day of the week, which is Sunday.
How is that for you, Dakota? Does that make sense to you?
It kind of confuses me because, like you said, Jesus was risen on the first day of the week, which is Sunday, and
right.
The seventh day of the week is Saturday, and so one of God's commandments, fourth commandment, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. So why are we worshiping on Sunday if the Sabbath is Saturday?
That commandment we have to interpret, as we do everything in the Old Testament, as we do everything in the Bible. We understand that commandment and we understand the rest of the Bible in light of Christ. Christ is the interpretive norm, the standard that Christians have for understanding the Old Testament. So just as the other commandments or the other things in the Old Testament are understood as pointing to Christ, and some of those things like circumcision, some of the dietary requirements of the Old Testament, the Mosaic covenant, were things that had to do with that covenant and God's purpose in calling Israel as a people to prepare for the coming of Jesus, just as we now interpret those things in light of Christ, and some of those things aren't practiced the way they were in the Old Testament. So circumcision is no longer a sign of the covenant. That's been transformed into baptism.
There is no such law in the Bible. It is a law of the Holy Catholic Church alone.
The seventh day of the week is Saturday, and so one of God's commandments, fourth commandment, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. So why are we worshiping on Sunday if the Sabbath is Saturday?
Answer: we observe Sunday instead of Saturday because the Catholic Church in the Council of Laodicea, AD 336, transferred the solemnity from Saturday to Sunday. Peter Geiermann, The Convert's Catechism of Catholic Doctrine, 2nd edition, 1910, page 50. Question: have you any other way of proving that the Church has power to institute festivals of precept? Answer: had she not such power, she could not have done that in which all modern religionists agree with her. She could not have substituted the observance of Sunday, the first day of the week, for the observance of Saturday, the seventh day, a change for which there is no scriptural authority. A change for which there is no scriptural authority.
A change for which there is no scriptural authority.
Stephen Keenan, A Doctrinal Catechism, page 174. There is but one church on the face of the earth which has the power or claims power to make laws binding on the conscience, binding before God, binding under penalty of hellfire. For instance, the institution of Sunday. What right has any other church to keep this day? You answer by virtue of the third commandment. The papacy changed the fourth commandment and called it the third, which says, remember that thou keep holy the Sabbath day. But Sunday is not the Sabbath. Any schoolboy knows that Sunday is the first day of the week. I have repeatedly offered $1,000 to anyone who will prove by the Bible alone that Sunday is the day we are bound to keep, and no one has called for the money. It was the Holy Catholic Church that changed the day of rest from Saturday, the seventh day, to Sunday, the first day of the week. T. Enright, CSSR, in a lecture delivered in 1893.
So, did the Catholic Church, did they change the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday?
Who changed the day? Was it God? No. Was it Jesus? People say Jesus did it. No, he didn't. People say, well, it must have been the apostles. No, it wasn't the apostles. The Bible tells me, and my friend, this is as plain as the nose on your face. When I go through this great prophecy, and everybody agrees with every point, but when we get to this one, they say, oops. But oops won't do. The Antichrist changed the day. And my friend who is here today is going to come, and he's going to read, Mr. Vince Morton, he's going to come and read from the official writings of the, as they call it, the Holy Roman Catholic Church. Listen to this. These are the unadulterated statements from popes and other Roman Catholic leaders.
What's your thoughts? Please be respectful with your comments. Also, please click the like, click the notification bell, and subscribe to this channel.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14 verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was Abraham, born in the city of a black man called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons. For real, and these were the children of Israel, according to Genesis chapter 10. These were the children of Israel, according to Genesis chapter 10. These were the children of Israel, according to Genesis chapter 10.